name is Jimmy and welcome to the 2021 Toyota Venza. This is actually quite exciting. It's a brand new vehicle for Toyota, or kind of new, because it's based on a RAV4. But in any case, let's see just how well it accelerates with a quick test. Let's put it onto sport mode. It changes the gauges just a little bit to red, and let's see. All right, that's acceptable. Definitely not too bad. 0 to 60 comes in a mid to high 7 seconds. It's definitely not the quickest SUV that you've ever been in. It's not designed to be. It's supposed to be efficient, but it is a little bit slower than the RAV4 that it's based on. If you didn't know, the Venza is called the Harrier in other parts of the world, and the Venza name was killed off back in 2015 when Toyota had that comfy 4-door passenger SUV. The vehicle itself was pretty good, had a reliable V6 under the hood, and in my eyes, it actually looked pretty good. Fast forward to today, and Toyota revived that Venza nameplate by rebadging the Harrier, so essentially it's a luxury RAV4. And if you're thinking, wasn't the Lexus NX a luxury SUV that's based on the RAV4? Well, yeah, it is. But that's based on the previous generation, while this is the current generation. So if you want a luxury SUV that's based on the RAV4, you should probably get this. I know it's a little complicated, but watch on, and I'll definitely tell you all about it. The Venza actually looks really good. I actually really love that front end. The angular headlights and that daytime running light. It's just a very beautiful sculpted piece. It's a lot more elegant than, well, the RAV4 is. The RAV4 is a little bit more kind of macho, outdoorsy look. This is more suited for kind of in the city, a well-rounded vehicle. On the side, this is the limited model here in Canada, so I got these 19-inch wheels. They look pretty good, and the overall side profile of the vehicle, well, actually, I don't mind it. Yes, it's just a box stack onto another box, but the sheet metal itself, it's quite fluid in its shape, and that's definitely something to be desired. The back end is where I love it the most. This taillight that stretches the entire width of the vehicle, I love it. It's so beautiful, and at night, well, it's just so distinctive. The turn signals actually is lower down on the rear bumper, which is a little odd, but overall, I must say the Venza is a very good looking vehicle. If we open up the tailgate, we get 29 cubic feet of space. It's decent, but it is a tad smaller than the RAV4 by almost 8 cubic feet. We can fold down the rear seats 60-40, but even if the rear seats are folded, it's smaller than the RAV4 by 15 cubic feet. So it's definitely not as practical. Moving to the rear seats, and we find, well, it doesn't have rear seat heaters, which is kind of odd because the RAV4 has it, but this doesn't. Baffles me. In any case, the seats themselves are very comfortable. There's 2-position recline to aid comfort. And for those with kids and are looking for this vehicle as kind of their kid transportation vehicle, well, take a look up here. I have a dedicated video where I tried the Klek Ling as well as the Klek Funf into this vehicle in both rear-facing position because that's the most bulky. In any case, the front seats, well, these are really nice. I love the stitching that's on them. They're super comfortable. They're heated as well as cooled. And on the driver's side, there is a 4-way adjustable lumbar support, which I actually kind of like. So it fits different people of different sizes. As for what's right in front of the driver, well, pretty standard Toyota steering wheel here. And behind that, this limited model gets you 2 analog gauges on the side and a pretty nice 7-inch display in the center to show you all of your driving information. There's even a heads-up display as well to show you how you're driving. Overall, not bad for what's directly in front of the driver. It's when we move to this, the infotainment, that's when things kind of fall short. This is the same screen that's in the Highlander, and I actually liked the screen that was in the Highlander. There's a dedicated volume, tuning knob, and a bunch of other controls. But this I don't like so much. There's a few reasons for it. First, this big widescreen. While it's very beautiful and it's amazing to look at in all the press photos, when you start using it, that's when things kind of fall short. It's divided into 2 sides. You got the 67% of it that's using your main infotainment functions, and then the other 33% is using like kind of an auxiliary screen for climate, heated seats, and some audio functions and some other stuff. Generally, the side on the right, I don't care about. If you want to minimize it, you can't. You press the button, instead of minimizing, it just goes from one side to the other. And that's it. You can't actually, well, use the infotainment in its full screen mode. Kind of annoying there, but it gets worse. The infotainment itself, well, all the buttons are not, well, right underneath. They're actually a little bit lower down, and it's divided by the vent. I think if it was just right here, it wouldn't be as bad. But because it's down here by the vents and, well, above the climate control, it's just a little bit harder to use. For example, I have my phone plugged in, I'm on Apple CarPlay. If I want to use the map function in CarPlay, if I hit map down here, it's not going to work. This brings me back to the Toyota maps. I got to hit the Apple Maps that's in there, or the Google Maps that I'll be using. It's just kind of weird. And if I hit audio, it doesn't bring me back to Apple CarPlay. It brings me to the audio that the vehicle is playing. So I have to hit CarPlay separately. So in order for me to go to CarPlay, there's a few extra buttons. And just the menu system, it's just a little bit clumsy. And the volume and tuning control, they're just, well, touch buttons. I mean, like I said, it looks absolutely beautiful. This is so sleek. But when you're starting to use the vehicle and actually drive it, I just prefer the standard model. In Canada, the standard LE gets you the, well, regular climate control that you find in the RAV4. But this is available on the XLE and the Limited here in Canada. But in the US, even the XLE gets the base 8-inch display as well as the, well, kind of more rudimentary climate control. And personally, it's just better. It really is. But that's enough of me ranting about this interior. In any case, let's get back out there and see how the driving is like. Because the driving experience in the Venza, it's not bad actually. As long as you have the right expectations when you get into this vehicle, it's actually thoroughly enjoyable. The ride is relatively quiet, and I actually find it a little bit more quiet than the RAV4, because I'm sure there's more sound deadening in here because they do want to make it a little bit more upscale. The ride itself is nice and plush. The suspension soaks up all the bumps. It's a super pleasant place to be in. But when you demand just a little bit more power, it's just, well, drones. The CVT that's in here, it's just your typical Toyota CVT. It's nothing special. And because of that, it just doesn't make the best sounds. So when you're accelerating on the highway or when you're trying to overtake, it's a little bit drony and annoying, but you're not going to be overtaking all the time. And when you're driving normally, like a regular person would in a Venza, it's completely fine. You just are very well isolated out from the rest of the world. And that's kind of where you want to be in a Venza. What I did find is driving on the highway, the radar guided cruise as well as the lane keep assist does work pretty well. It's not as good as the newer Hyundai or Kia products. That is top notch, but it's all right. It lets you take your hands off the wheel every now and then and, well, just kind of relax a little bit for those longer journeys, which is definitely nice. And absolutely, you'll be going on plenty of road trips because on the highway, this gets 37 miles per gallon. In the city, it's actually better at 40 miles per gallon, which is slightly worse than the RAV4 hybrid, but I guess that's okay. Let's pull over here and summarize everything up. The 2021 Toyota Venza is a pretty good vehicle. I mean, there's a lot to love about it. The styling, the good looks, that already takes me just by surprise. Because the RAV4, I mean, I like the RAV4, but it's very rugged. If you're not looking for that, this is a perfect alternative for that. I mean, overall, the Venza, it sits at a pretty good place. It's a fancy RAV4. Is it perfect? No, I don't think so. There's plenty that's going to be buying the RAV4 hybrid instead because it's cheaper, it's more practical, it's easier to use. And for those who just want a little bit more out of the RAV4, well, this is what that's actually made for. If you want a luxury version of the RAV4, you want a quieter interior, better materials, the Venza is perfect for that. Starting at 38,490 Canadian dollars, and as tested here, $47,690. That's 43,100 US dollars. It's about $4,000 more than the comparable RAV4, but it is about $13,000 less than the top trim Lexus NX. So I think instead of thinking the Venza as a premium RAV4, we can kind of think of it as a thrifty alternative to the Lexus NX. Because from here, I just don't really see a need to go to Lexus. This is bigger, it's more powerful, it's more fuel efficient, and Well, you don't get that fiddly trackpad that you get in the Lexus. This, it's a little bit easier to use than the Lexus trackpad, but it's not much better. If you get the base version with the base climate control and the base infotainment, I think it's a winner. Oh, but if you get the base, you don't get this cool little sunroof. You press a button, it goes from opaque to slightly more opaque. It doesn't open. It's just weird, but it looks cool. It's something that you can show off to your friends. In any case, that's about all I have for the Venza. Let me know what you think of the Venza in the comment section down below. Is it worth your money? Yeah, I think so. It's worth a little bit extra than the Rav4. But for me, give me the Rav4, the Trail Edition or that TRD Edition. Take it off-road, lift it, some big knobbly tires. I personally want that more. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day. Take care.